So let's go through the morning papers again. Here to review them today are the journalist and author Gemma Forte and the broadcaster and writer Edward Adu. Welcome back to both of you. We looked at the front pages, didn't we, in the last hour, all preoccupied with the cost of living crisis and the energy price cap, which no doubt will filter into some of these stories, but we've delved inside and you found a few different things to talk about. Edward, you've spotted a story inside The Guardian. The Guardian says that they have seen an official inquiry and know the results of it. So what are they suggesting is going on here?
So it's a draft of a government-ordered report that has found that Sadiq Khan wrongly ousted the former Met Police Commissioner Cressida Dick. Now, the findings come from the former Chief Inspector of Constabulary, and it more or less says that, that Dick was, Cressida Dick was fairly untreated and branding the mayor's actions and decision-making as irrational and unreasonable. Now, Sadiq Khan has fought back and he's consulting lawyers and said he believes that the report to be biased and factually flawed. And to quote, the report also says that the treatment was oppressive and that she was placed under unfair pressure. Now, Sadiq Khan has wrote a letter to Priti Patel and said that Tom Windsor's publicly championed Cressida Dick. Now, it seems that an issue which we thought would have possibly been put to bed because obviously a new commissioner has been put in place, it still seems to be escalating. So in terms of the beef, whether there was any beef between Sadiq Khan and Cressida Dick, I mean, this report is clearly stating that, she was ousted. Sadiq Khan is saying it's a bit of a tick for tack between the report and what Khan is saying. So it'd be interesting to find out the true findings and as to what actually took place and whether the claims of the report, whether any of the claims are actually true.
Well, that's right. We'll have to wait to get more clarity on that. But clearly a bit of a row going on there. And Gemma, you're taking us inside The Guardian as well. And this is the response by President Macron to Liz Truss's comments about him at a hustings earlier this week.
That's right. She was asked, and I would say it's a dubious question in the first place, she was asked, Macron, friend or foe? There was hesitancy, she was sort of giggling, and then she made some comment about, well, I'll judge him on his actions, which has sort of blown up on Twitter. And so it was put to Macron, what he thought about these comments, which in my view are at best inelegant and at worst sort of a bit moronic and xenophobic. And he said, I wouldn't hesitate to call Britain an ally. He pointed out, that if you're an ally or an enemy, there isn't a neutral sort of position there. And he also said the United Kingdom is a friendly nation regardless of its leaders, sometimes in spite of its leaders. It's not diplomatic and it's ludicrous. The French are our nearest neighbours. They are NATO allies. There shouldn't be any reason to hesitate with that question, and it doesn't bode well in terms of diplomacy going forward if she's going to be our future Prime Minister.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we've seen her talk about why she said that. She may well say, yes, France, of course, is a friend. I was talking about Macron. I don't know. We haven't heard. It'll be interesting to see if she says more on this at a later date, isn't it? And Edward, inside the Mail, it's a bank holiday, so the traffic's going to be bad. It's essentially the main message, isn't it?
Traffic is going to be bad. It's the main message. With obviously the ongoing issue with some flight cancellations, the issue with engineering works, no one likes to hear that term or that reference, engineering works with some. I think Charing Cross Station is closed. The West Coast Main Line, I think there's going to be restrictions, or there's certainly going to be some restrictions in place. We've got Reading and Leeds festivals. We've got Notting Hill Carnival. You just mentioned and you spoke to your guest about Manchester Pride. Lots going on. Technically, it's the last bank holiday before Christmas. It's the last time where people can kind of go and enjoy themselves, but there's going to be gridlocked. I mean, apparently it's going to be literally over 10 million people, on the roads. I was in East London yesterday and noticed that people had already decided to leave early and to go on their travels, and it's set to get worse over the weekend. So my advice is, I'm not a travel expert. take time out and don't get stressed on the road, because I was stressed last night. I mean, a 40-minute journey nearly took me 2 hours.
Oh, that's the worst, isn't it, when you're just not moving in traffic? I can't believe you said the word Christmas, though, but I'm going to move on from that. Oh, don't say it's the end of summer. I can't get my head around that. That's doesn't bear thinking about. Gemma, let's take a very quick look inside the eye next. We said we probably would come back to the cost of living crisis because it's dominating the papers. You've picked out a story that reflects on what it might mean for schools.
That's right, as you say, this is all spilling into the middle of the newspapers as well. It's on every front page, and yes, schools are facing some really difficult decisions. Teachers haven't had a pay cap for a long time, and obviously they're facing rising costs. And what schools are actually looking at is, how are we supposed to heat the school? We cannot afford it on our budget. Their budgets haven't increased. So again, another argument, perhaps government should have been recalled specifically for instances like this. So they're going to have to surely cap the bills for schools. We cannot have our children learning from home again, which would be the alternative for 2 days a week. I simply cannot contemplate that for them. It's, you know, they've all lived through COVID, and I think that is something that people would not put up with, frankly.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get the plan soon from a new Prime Minister once they're installed. We've only got about 20 seconds. Can you sum up electric cars in 20 seconds? It's inside the eye.
Well, Anna, the issue, we're talking about cost of living, prices are set to go up at hubs. I have issues at the moment. I've got an electric car. There's not many hubs that work in places like Bedfordshire. And with this in mind, I think the incentive is to try and get people to switch to electric cars. If the prices are going to go up, then it's certainly going to put people off. There has to be a plan in place to try and convince people electric cars do work. Prices may have to go up, but there has to be a counterbalance somewhere.
Okay, we're out of time. Edward and Gemma, I'll see you again next hour. Thanks both very much indeed.